Imagine setting out to cross the Atlantic in a wooden vessel, no engine, no GPS, and spending months at sea. During the Age of Discovery, the naus were the true leviathans of the oceans, colossal ships that redirected the course of history. In this video, we'll step aboard to see why these vessels became unmistakable icons of Iberian maritime power. A nau was a large, sturdy ship favored by Portuguese and Spanish sailors from the 15th to the 16th centuries. Unlike the lighter, faster caravels, naus were purpose-built for long transoceanic voyages. Their broad hulls and high forecastles and stern castles offered exceptional stability and enormous cargo space, perfect for transporting spices, precious metals, and provisions. Most naus measured roughly 25 to 30 meters in length and carried crews of 100 to 250 men. With 3 or 4 masts rigged with both square and lateen sails, they could harness steady ocean winds yet still maneuver along coastlines. The word nau comes from the Latin naves and, over time, became shorthand for the Iberian crown's main blue water workhorse. The most celebrated of all was the Victoria, captained by Juan Sebastian Elcano after Ferdinand Magellan's death. She earned immortality as the first ship to circumnavigate the globe. If you'd like to learn more about those world-spanning voyages, let me know your favorite expedition in the comments. Although naus were not primarily warships, many carried cannons for self-defense. They proved indispensable in colonizing the Americas and the spice trade with the East, and in sustaining Europe's far-flung empires. Their story begins in the late Middle Ages, when Mediterranean designs had to be adapted for the rougher Atlantic. By the mid-15th century, Portuguese exploration demanded a more resilient, longer-range craft with greater storage. Early naus served short coastal routes along the Iberian Peninsula, but they soon tackled longer journeys to Guinea, and later to India. Throughout the 16th century, the design evolved. Extra masts, thicker hull planking, and expanded holds made regular Atlantic crossings feasible. These improvements carried Pedro Alvarez Cabral to Brazil, Vasco da Gama around the Cape of Good Hope, and Spanish treasure fleets from the New World back to Seville. For Portugal, naus were the backbone of the India run, linking Lisbon to Goa via Angola, the Cape, and the Indian Ocean voyages lasting 6 months to a year. By the 17th century, more specialized ships such as galleons and frigates began to eclipse the nau. Even so, its symbolic and historical importance has never faded. These vessels knit continents together and reshaped global commerce. Building a nau was a monumental task, demanding time, resources, and expert knowledge. Most were laid down in the royal yards of Lisbon, Porto, or Seville under the watch of master shipwrights. Oak provided strength and longevity for the hull, while lighter pine served for masts and upper works. Construction started with the keel, the vessel's spine, followed by the curved frames that formed the hull's skeleton. Outer planking was then fastened and sealed with oakum and pitch to keep the ocean at bay. No two naus were identical. There was no industrial standard. Much of the work relied on the builder's eye and generational know-how. Their cavernous holds stored provisions, cargo, and fresh water enough to sustain entire crews on epic journeys that quite literally connected the world. Asterisk. The main deck was the ship's beating heart, crowded with cannon, capstans, and towering masts. Astern, the raised quarterdeck housed the officers' and paying passengers' cabins, while up forward, the forecastle was the rough and ready domain of common sailors and soldiers. Decoration varied with a vessel's prestige. Some naus boasted ornate carvings, heraldic shields, and devotional art. Building one could take anywhere from 6 months to a full year, depending on size and complexity, an enormous financial outlay that usually required direct royal sponsorship. Designed to last many seasons, the ships nevertheless met their ends through wrecks, battles, or simple rot, so the crown yards were always laying keels for replacements. Life on board was harsh. hierarchical, and unrelenting. Captains, pilots, and deckhands shared cramped quarters and faced endless days at sea. Scurvy and other ailments spread easily, fed by a monotonous, vitamin-poor diet. If you're curious about daily life afloat, check the video linked in. The card. For Portugal and Spain, naus were more than vessels, they were the gears that drove empire. Each one served simultaneously as transport, trading platform, diplomatic envoy, and weapon of war. On every voyage they carried soldiers, priests, merchants, scribes, and explorers, all chasing new lands, fresh markets, and untapped wealth. Cavernous holds made the Atlantic economy possible. Silver and gold from the Americas, spices from the East, enslaved Africans bound for plantations, and European goods heading outward to colonial ports. When a naus dropped anchor in foreign waters, it signaled more than commerce. It broadcast the monarch's authority and the reach of imperial power. On deck, missionaries preached. Below deck, muskets and treasure lay side by side. Epic journeys of circumnavigation, Magellan's expedition, completed by Elcano, among others, owed their success to these rugged hulls. The discovery of Brazil provides one of the most striking examples. Pedro Alvarez Cabral's fleet relied on naus to supply, protect, and project Portuguese presence across the Atlantic. Without them, the venture's logistics, survival, and political weight would have been impossible. Should you want an in-depth look at the exact composition of Cabral's squadron, its ships, officers, and objectives, let me know by commenting "Discovery of Brazil" below. And don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because that breakdown is already in the works and you won't want to miss it.